Let's face it, embarrassment is a big part of childhood and growing up. When we're kids, we get worried about things like putting on the wrong outfit and being laughed at, or my producer talking about a second grade classroom where he slipped on a banana peel and got laughed at by his peers. It can also be more subtle, like when I was a kid with ADHD and I'd get distracted during class and my teacher would call on me and I'd get really embarrassed because all the kids would laugh at me because I didn't know what was going on. Helping our kids navigate embarrassment and knowing what to do in those situations is going to be the focus of our episode here today. This is Parenting Behavior with me, Dr. Andy Kahn. I'm a licensed psychologist, a parent, and I've been working with kids and families for over 20 years, helping to navigate behavioral challenges. Today's episode, we're going to talk about navigating embarrassment with your child. Today, we're going to think about embarrassment, and lots of what happens with embarrassment is about the feeling of being judged by others. And in fact, that feeling of shame when something's going wrong and you just feel so badly about yourself in the moment. Well, let's differentiate here for a second. Embarrassment is mostly about being judged by others or how people see you. While shame is that feeling of feeling like you've done something wrong. It's an internal thing, something that we feel bad about that might not be seen by others, but it can really influence our behavior. When we think about what kind of things can happen for kids with learning and thinking differences like ADHD and dyslexia, there are lots of opportunities for them to feel embarrassed. Kids who struggle with reading might be laughed at by their peers when they're trying to read in public, or kids with ADHD like myself as a kid, getting called out for either being out of their seat or being off topic. And these can lead to lots and lots of negative feelings and feelings of shame for those kids. We're going to talk today about navigating those embarrassed feelings and how you as a parent can support your child in that process. One of the keys is that embarrassment and anxiety often go hand in hand. So for me as an adult with ADHD, I'll often over-prepare for situations that make me nervous or make me afraid of being embarrassed. So before I do a podcast, I do a lot of study and work. Before a big interview, I might spend a lot of time doing research or learning about the people who are interviewing me. But the challenge is for kids. Kids often don't know what to expect or don't know what the situation is going to bring to them. So for us as adults, it's really important to predict that that's anxiety-provoking for kids. Teach them about what to expect, learn about what's going to be asked of them in that situation, and help them prepare or rehearse in those situations. Lots of this is manageable, but we have to think in advance about what embarrasses our kids and how we're going to help them navigate it. One of the key areas that can cause embarrassment for kids are social situations. And this makes a lot of sense. When you walk into a situation where you might not know all the people or know what the social rules are, kids are often going to find that really anxiety-provoking. The last thing they want to do is feel embarrassed about not knowing how to introduce themselves or not knowing how to keep a conversation going. For example, kids with ADHD often struggle knowing where to stop the conversation or might talk on and on about something that they're interested in, causing other people to sort of feel frustrated or maybe even tease them about how they're communicating. A lot of what we think about for kids with learning and thinking differences is also how their neurology and their development, remember the word from the last episode, affects how they're able to do what they need to do. Meaning, when your child is talking to someone else of their own age, they might seem less mature. They might not know and understand how social interactions are supposed to go. And this makes them a lot harder for them and could make them a target for getting teased or feeling embarrassed in the social world. Lots of what we can do about training kids in social skills or helping them navigate situations with kids who might be more friendly to them already can be super helpful in this situation. One of the things we think about in navigating embarrassment is teaching your child practical skills. In another episode, we talked a little bit about faking it till you make it, which is trying to train yourself to do things in advance or to think about how your behavior affects people in your environment. So let me give you an example. If a kid is clumsy like I was as a kid, like I am as an adult, when I bump into things or if I'm in a situation with a lot of things that I could knock over, I will pre-apologize and say things like, well, I'm really clumsy, so I'm going to watch out here for a second. So if something does get knocked over, it's not quite so embarrassing as something happens and everyone's laughing at me. In fact, in that situation, teaching kids to sort of laugh with other people about things that are happening. Taking away some of that power of embarrassment can be really powerful for kids. It's sort of like being self-effacing, which is saying, yeah, I know this isn't good for me. This is something that I'm dealing with. And they sort of shrug and they nod about it because they know that they can take some of the strength and sting out of it. A moment of embarrassment is something that will go away. And you have to reassure your kids about this when they engage in those behaviors and help them move on from it when something sort of embarrassing has happened to them. That's it for today. Thanks for joining us. If you like this content, don't forget to subscribe. Remember, Understood.org is a nonprofit organization that's looking to empower individuals with learning and thinking differences, like ADHD and dyslexia. If you like this content and you want to support us, please go to understood.org/give.